What's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WPwatercooler, episode number 131. Today we're going to be talking about creating a starter theme using Underscores and Zurb Foundation.
Sweet.
Let's go around the room real quick and get everyone introduced. We're going to start with Dave because we're in alphabetic order today.
Start with Dave. I'm Dave. I'm CTO at Spectrum Technologies, where we build custom plugins and e-commerce stuff.
Awesome. What about you, Jacob?
My name is Jacob. I'm a front-end developer here at ZeekInteractive.
Sweet. What about you, Julie?
I'm Julie Keel, and I'm a freelance WordPress developer.
Awesome. How about you, Sarah?
I am Sarah Weefald. I'm the production manager here at ZeekInteractive.
I'm seeing a trend here. All right, so you still working at Zeek? No, not working at Zeek. So tell us about yourself.
Me? Oh,
yeah.
Me? Well, my name's Say Reed, and I don't work at Zeek, but I like those people. They're nice. I do WordPressy stuff, teach WordPress, make WordPress, live, breathe WordPress, love WordPress. On all the things at Say Reed Media. Okay, thanks, bye.
How about you, Steve? You work at Zeek?
I am Steve Zehngut. I'm the founder of ZeekInteractive, and I run the OC WordPress meetup.
Awesome. Suzette.
Hello, everybody. I'm Suzette Frank. I am a freelance WordPress professional, and I'm also a teacher with Go Develop It. Girl Develop It.
Somebody develop
Go Girl Develop It.
Someone develop something.
You go, girl.
That's right.
I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me on Twitter, Jason Tucker. I blog over at wpmedia.pro and jasontucker.us. So, let's talk about this Zurb thing.
Well, I mean, just starting in, I guess. This came
Somebody's got to.
This came out of a presentation that Steve gave at WordCamp Orange County last summer.
Which is on WordPress TV.
And I watched it last week. Woohoo!
Awesome. Wow.
Basically about how how we as a team use underscores, we use a version of underscores that we kind of rolled up using Zurb's Foundation front-end framework, and we decided to take that a step further and release a starter theme that we'd be able to share with the community at large.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't actually totally familiar with underscores. Love it. I think it's awesome. Not familiar with Zurb Foundation.
So Foundation is basically a CSS framework with a lot of other libraries, but at its core, it's a CSS framework, kind of similar to Twitter Bootstrap.
Zurb part.
They're the people that make it, like automatically.
Yeah, Zurb.
Oh, it's just their like Twitter.
Bootstrap.
Zurb makes Foundation.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, because we reached out to Zurb and tried to get somebody on the water cooler. They couldn't.
And they were like Zurb.
No, actually it was too short notice. They couldn't make it. But Zurb is that an open source project?
Zurb, I believe, is an agency.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
I know someone we could ask.
So there's a whole Zurb community like there is a WordPress community. So anytime you have a Foundation question, you can typically do a Google search and find exactly what you're looking for. And they're now on their 5th major release of Foundation.
They're a product design company since 1998.
Oh, you asked the Google.
Thank you.
I asked Zurb. Who are you, Zurb?
This show now with facts.
But my point
is a direct connection with Zurb.
Yeah, but my point is the community at around Zurb is there's a lot. Thank you. I don't know why you're laughing, but
Zurb is like the funniest word.
It is. It's a great word. But their community is really active and very helpful. And when I've had questions about Foundation, I've been able to go on and post and get answers very quickly, just like the WordPress community.
And they have some great docs, too.
They do.
So wait, is it open source?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for explaining that. You guys kept talking about it in like different posts, and I was like, I have not heard of this Zurb.
So it's akin to boilerplate or
Bootstrap.
Other type of CSS framework type stuff.
I really don't like Bootstrap.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
But Foundation is really easy. Foundation is really easy to use.
Yeah, what made you decide on using Foundation as opposed to Bootstrap or Cascade or something else?
Mm-hmm. We had a developer here last year that turned me on to it, and I I just found it really easy to use as compared to some of those other frameworks. It's really straightforward. The markup, the language is really just easy to understand and easy to identify.
Is it straight CSS or SASS?
It's native SASS, whereas Bootstrap is less imported to SASS. Foundation was built with SASS.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
solid.
but if you're not a SASS pro, if you're not a SASS pro, you can use the CSS version of it, or if you want to step it up a notch, you can use the SASS version too.
SASS
Oh,
is
you
weird
should
and
always
less anyway.
use SASS if you know CSS.
Agreed.
So
And
it's so
Foundation's a
much
great
more
way to
awesome.
learn SASS.
Agreed.
It is.
Cool.
Agreed. But if you go to the Foundation website, the first big link you're going to see there is download Foundation 5, and it'll get, if you're not SASS. If you're not up to speed on SASS, you can go and customize Foundation. Just download a version of the CSS library for yourself.
That's really nice of them to
It's
do
pretty
that.
sweet.
It's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
You can go both ways. You know about that, right?
I heard
You
that
like
about
it when
Zach.
things go both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, regarding this in WordPress, there are some themes that use this, right? That are already built themes that aren't just starter themes, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Did you guys
There's
go
lots.
through any of those while you were, wanting to build out your starter theme?
We have in the past used one of the themes. Let me try to find it.
Foundation Press.
There was another theme that we used a couple years ago. I can't remember the name of it.
There are a few WordPress themes out there that use Foundation, and I've played around with some of them before, but sometimes just starting from scratch with an underscores install is the best way to go.
Agreed. I mean,
Clean install.
since we switched over to underscores, everything we build is from scratch anyway. So where Heisenberg came from is we were already doing so many things internally. We had this theme that we had built internally that we used as our own starter theme, and we just decided to release it to the public. So we're going to keep maintaining it, but it's up there for anybody to use as a starter theme. Now,
And where did the name come from, Heisenberg?
Breaking Bad, the
Oh.
best show, the best show
Best show
ever.
ever.
Because
Great question, though.
let's cook, y'all.
Wait.
Gotta cook.
You
You're
do
cooking
realize,
Heisenberg.
So
you
actually,
do
I think
realize he was a physicist, right?
I actually think it was
Not
David
just a
Arsenault.
TV character?
I think it was David Arsenault that came up with the name. Am I right, Sarah?
No, I think it may have been me.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm gonna take the credit from you.
He wants to give credit where
Take
credit's
that
due.
shit. Oh, stuff.
Not
If it was
that,
David, it's now Sarah.
not that
For the record-
David doesn't deserve a lot of respect for everything, but a particular thing was me.
Cool.
You know,
Also-
I can see that, by the way, because this girl's so Breaking Bad.
So anyway, where was it going?
But by the
so
way,
when-
Heisenberg
when-
also a physicist. Okay, I just like to
when
point
we-
that out. Not
when we-
just a TV character.
When we posted it last week, some of the people on Twitter were asking for a demo page, or let's see the theme, and the point is it's a starter theme. It's meant for you to install and then customize to your liking. It's for you to start.
You can cut it with whatever you want.
Exactly.
It is a starter theme. So I'm
It's just
happy
enough to get you hooked, and then you just it's like a gateway.
Gateway theme.
A gateway theme.
But once you're
Putting all
addicted,
that into our marketing materials, by the way.
You can have it, it's all you.
Is the first sample
Gateway
free?
theme of- And then the code gets like progressively dirtier as you go.
so I'm happy to post a demo page, but it really doesn't look like much by design. That's the way it is.
But
Well, I mean,
It
underscores
looks
looks
better
just
than-
naked.
Yeah,
It
it looks
does look better than underscores.
It looks like a good basic starting place. I like the beginning look of it.
Well, thank you, Suzette.
I installed it yesterday, and it looked very awesome, and I love the SASS. I installed all my nodes and
Ooh,
every day.
yeah, you
And
got
it says you
your nose.
And Gulp is working, and the browser refresh works. It's all awesome.
So
Yeah,
besides
it's-
besides the fact that I have no idea who names these technologies,
What is wrong with people?
the reason
Tech boys,
the re-
lonely tech boys are gulping and noting their sass. That's all I have to say.
the reason
Don't forget bowering it up too.
and the,
Oh my
and
god.
the reason we had Jacob come on today is because he was responsible for Bower, Gulp, Grunt, SASS, all of it, and I wanted him to talk about that a little bit because we've integrated all those technologies into this theme.
Yes, awesome.
Bring it.
so where did
What'd
you
do?
start, Jacob?
Yeah,
us.
so I mean, I think we started with Bower. If nobody's familiar with it, Bower is a front-end package manager. So
What does that
It's
mean?
like a hip sack.
what does that mean?
Power.
Who watches TV here? Nobody.
What
Bower,
is
Bowser.
a front-end package manager?
A front-end package manager is a way for you to grab different libraries, toolkits that you use on the front things in a very easy way, to put it bluntly, I guess. So for instance, let's just say you use Normalize in your projects. Normally you go to Normalize's website, copy the code, dump it in somewhere, and then you're good to go, right? If you use Bower, you pretty much just go Bower install Normalize, and you're rocking and rolling. It brings in Normalize. It'll bring in Foundation just through command line. So it kind of eliminates you having to search
There we go.
the internet for different things. So it's just a way to find things faster, right? That's one.
Oh,
one version.
efficiency.
And
Yes,
it-
efficiency.
It pulls all those things out of GitHub, right?
Yes, it pretty much redirects to a GitHub repo. So it's a big redirect if you want to look at it that way as well. Another thing it allows you to do is versioning. So let's just say for this project we're using Foundation 5.5.1. And so if you're working in a team, you all want to stay on the same version. You want to make sure that everyone's using the same version of the actual library, in this case Foundation. So in the Bower JSON file, the manifest, you
Otherwise, you will get Git complex.
Yes. So to avoid any conflict issues, another benefit of Bower is it allows you to stay on the same version on a particular library or toolkit that you're using.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you do some sort of initial like skeleton design or skeleton like layout, like where it starts from? Because Underscores starts at a nothing.
Underscores has no design. Yeah.
Underscores there's no design. It's just there and
Yeah.
there's whatever. Where did you guys start? I haven't installed it.
I threw in a
Yeah.
very quick blog-like design. It's got a header. It's got 2 columns. It's got a main column and a sidebar and a footer. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Are they
It's
widgetized?
a great starting place.
But it's
Did you widgetize your sidebars?
it is using Foundation. It is using Foundation rows and columns. So we took what we did is we took Underscores, layered in our Foundation rows and columns. So that that's why it's kind of starting you out with both a starter theme and a Foundation starter. So it kickstarts both of those things.
And the cool thing
You're
is,
doing
if
it
you're not
double.
a big SASS person, you can use the presentational classes with the starter theme, and just go with it using rows and columns. Or if you want to get a little more advanced, you can start using the mix-ins and the semantic markup that Foundation allows you to use too.
Zurb.
So Bower's the front-end package manager. In this case, for Heisenberg, Bower's only bringing in Foundation for us. But again, it allows you once you clone the theme, you can start using Bower for other things for your team as well.
Very cool.
I
And the
must say
websites
the
are made out of
instructions.
rainbows?
So real quick, because it is a starter theme, and I want to say this for our audience, because it is a starter theme, there will be no updates that show within your WordPress dashboard.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
you
that's
just
kind of the
want
thing
it
that throws
done.
people off.
And that's the deal with Underscores as well. So Underscores is never going to show you an update to Underscores in your WordPress dashboard.
Thank
Because
God.
it's not a parent. It's not the parent theme.
That's
But
right.
It is the parent
So it
theme.
doesn't
It is the
nag
theme.
you.
The
It doesn't
framework for
It
it.
just leaves you alone, lets you do your thing, and doesn't nag you.
So Steve, would
About
you
cleaning your room.
would you see you guys at some point making child themes off of
Ooh, yeah. Are you gonna child theme your
That
screen?
is a great business idea, Jason. I think we should do that.
I know a great designer. Oh wait,
I know a few coders.
Wait.
We can make this happen.
you already got her.
For right now, I mean, this is a very early version of
Yeah.
this theme. I mean, it's pretty raw. So
Like 0.0.0.0.1.
yeah,
It's from Zehngut. Why wouldn't it be wrong?
Beta.
exactly. One of the
Like ODB raw.
one of the next things I want to add is adding some of the Foundation modules like block grid. So I might add a little template for block grid so you can see how that lays out. And we'll just kind of throw things in there as we go and make Twitter announcements.
Grid.
Very cool.
Grid it.
Yeah, so follow ZeekInteractive at ZeekInteractive.
because this is the narcissism episode.
Says the social media guru. You can take the girl out of social media, but you can't take the social media out of the woman, by the way.
Let's talk about a starter theme first. So, why would why would another business like your business want to start a starter theme? And then what's the next piece to this? I mean, we already talked about the Zurb side of things, but now the starter theme side of things. This is something that you're going to be using to build all your stuff going forward, right?
It's what we do now, but yes. I mean, the reason I use underscores is because that way I have full control over the theme, and the layout, the design, and especially the functionality. I've always found that when I take existing themes or when I make child themes, I end up pulling out the stuff that I don't need, and it just becomes bloat. So I love underscores because it's very basic, it's very streamlined, and it is a great place to start.
Which is why when we throw in Foundation, we don't want to add too much and bloat it, and keeping with that same kind of light feel as well.
But it also gives you a jump start, so you're not having to redo stuff every single time you do a theme. I mean, there's enough basics there to save time.
Yep.
Awesome.
Many repeatable tasks as possible.
Yeah.
Years ago, I used to use a theme. This was before the term starter theme came about, but it was called Empty Canvas. And that was my starter theme for a long time.
Did you ride your dinosaur over it today?
I chiseled it in stone. That's how I wrote my code.
I like starter. I always thought empty canvas was kind of bloated for being an empty canvas. I was like, you liar! Not empty.
I mean, you can even use this starter theme to prototype as well. You clone the theme, and you can just start rocking and rolling.
And especially,
I love starter themes so much more than frameworks. Yes, better, so much better.
That's a great point, and I want to reiterate what Jacob just said about Foundation is for wireframing or just setting up something quick. Foundation is perfect for that.
Yeah, I've watched Steve do a demo on Foundation at the WordPress meetup, and he'll literally have all of the columns set up, everything set up and ready to go in a matter of seconds. It's a super quick way of prototyping that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're a designer that you're not really good as far as HTML, CSS, but you want to see how certain things are responding to different breakpoints. This can be a great way to get started and see how your design starts responding at different sizes too.
It's also a neat way to communicate with clients.
So, what was that?
I said you're fully responsive.
Not you, Say.
Yeah, and that's
Julie.
what Say was saying, though, too. I mean, some clients, depending on their background, explaining what responsive means to them, throwing up a quick starter theme and just playing with it there, or focusing them on the content. So a lot of times when you're working with clients, they get so wrapped up in the design and the bells and whistles. It's like, no, set up a plain old starter theme. Let's focus on the content, and then we'll worry about what it's going to look like at the end.
Gaylord DeWalt uses a theme called Thematic, which is a little out of date now, but it's still a great wireframing theme and a great place to just, if you purposely want to take out all design, that's what Thematic as a base is really good for.
Yeah. But most any starter theme, well, underscores is it freaks clients out, So something like Foundation. Yeah, I know.
Wait, why does underscores freak clients out? Have you show it to them before you install it?
Don't just install underscores and show it.
Here you go.
Right.
We're done.
Just next.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Here's what your site looks like. Or show it to them, and then you can be like, I'm going to go from this to this, and then worship happens.
But then
That's why you pay me.
But then when you talk about how much it costs, you're like, but guys, it was free. All I had to do was type in something to a website, hit the go button, and then it spit out nice standard HTML. It's awesome.
And they're like, we don't know what you're saying. Make something pretty.
One thing I really want to emphasize with Foundation, and the reason we use this is it really is built on a mobile-first type of methodology. So Foundation out of the box, I mean, we are really designing for the small screen size first. And for those of you who don't know, Foundation works off of small, medium, and large sizes. So we're looking at that small size first, and that's how we're getting our clients to kind of focus on mobile first through using Foundation.
And one thing I'd like to point out too is a lot of times people don't really like Foundation or Bootstrap because of the presentational classes, for instance. You've got to throw in all kinds of classes in an HTML element. But you can also do semantic markup in Foundation as well. I mean, if you go to the bottom of each of their section on their docs, you can throw in your own custom class and then use their mix-ins and use actual semantic markup rather than 10 different classes on an HTML element. So keep that in mind as well.
Jacob, what's a mix-in for our audience?
Yeah, it's a function, so it allows you to. It's a SASS function, so it allows you to write a function that you can call on later. For instance, breakpoints, right? Or I'm sorry, media query. So if you can write yourself a media query mix-in, define all these arguments, and in your code later on, call on that, already have that pre-written code in a very basic way, right? So it allows you to write a function within your CSS or SASS that you can use later on.
It's kind of like macros built into CSS.
Right. Macros.
Yep.
And in the Heisenberg theme, that's in our assets /SASS folder. Is that correct?
What's that?
I'm looking in the theme right now as we're talking. Inside it, there's a folder called Assets, and inside that there's a folder called SASS, and that's where you can pick up the stuff that you wrote for this particular theme.
Yeah.
One of your assets definitely is your SASS.
And that's where all of the SASS is happening inside the assets directory. I mean, we have a style.css file because you need it for WordPress, but all that is just declaring the theme name and basic things. All of the actual SASS and CSS is happening inside the assets directory. And then we threw in some basic SASS architecture. Again, it's more of a suggestive way to architect it. We're not forcing it like a framework to say, hey, you have to do it this way. Kind of keeping in with the philosophy of a starter theme. If someone says, no, that's not how we work, I mean, you could just break it apart and figure out your own architecture as well.
Sweet. No, I point that out because I'm hoping that our theme helps people that are trying to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of learning. I mean, that's how I pick up a lot of.
There was a comment there somewhere.
I think it's great. That's the people who need to learn that stuff need to learn that stuff. And hopefully your theme can help them learn that stuff.
Thank you, Say.
I need to go look in my assets folder, see what's in there.
I think your face is in there.
My face is in my assets folder. There's a couple other things in there.
Your head is up in there somewhere.
My mom is in my assets folder.
I think it's important to talk about
in your assets folder.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
It's important to also talk about the Gulp component to this starter theme as well.
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Gulp is, I mean, it's got a lot of names, task runner, automation tool. Basically allows you to use this tool to run a lot of repeatable tasks for you, right? Things like compile your SASS, basic things like minify your CSS, concatenate your JavaScript, browser refresh, right?
Yeah. And why did you choose Gulp over Grunt? I'm just curious because I used to use Grunt, but I set up Gulp with this, and it works awesome.
I love all these names.
I know, it's terrible.
I mean, I love that.
I just Grunt your Gulp,
for those of you
SASS your face.
those of you that don't know Grunt does the same thing as Gulp. It's a task runner automation tool, right? It's a cool name because it actually does all the Grunt work for you.
It's got a great icon too.
Yes, it has a great icon.
The piggy, yeah.
So when you're talking about Grunt or Gulp, they're doing the same thing. It's in that automation tool space, if you will. But the reason why we chose Gulp in this case is that's just what we use here at Zeek. We find it to be a little easier. Not to say that it's better or worse. It's all preference, I think. But we found it to be a little easier because it's less on the configuration and more on the actual coding, using JavaScript to actually set up your automation. So that's pretty much it. But I mean, for Gulp, for this particular starter theme, what we're doing is we're using just some basic plugins. It's compiling our SASS. It's using the Ruby compiler. We're probably going to roll out the libsass compiler pretty soon. Just got to do some testing with source maps and stuff like that. And then we're using the BrowserSync, which is a really great plugin if you're not using it for your development workflow. Basically, what it does. Yeah, it's watching your SASS files. Whenever you save a SASS file, it'll compile and then it will inject all the CSS right into your browser. So no need to have
refreshes.
No need to have to do page refresh, right? So let's just say you change the color to red on your body. Normally you click Command Save or whatever, and then you have to go to your browser and then actually refresh and see the changes. In this case, you execute your code, and automatically the CSS gets injected into your browser.
CXXX.
It's such a time saver. It really is. It is such a time saver.
Don't mind Say she stopped maturing at 12.
You can also do other things to watch your PHP file. So whenever you save, front page.php, for instance, that'll actually do a refresh of your browser. If you save your JavaScript files or add a new image, it'll do all that refreshing for you as well. So it's a time-saving tool. Can you still build a theme without it? Of course. It just saves you time.
What's time anyway, though, really? Except,
it's relative.
Money and all that we have in our lives.
Time is a flat circle.
That was deep.
Dave, have you guys started doing any starter theme stuff?
Me?
Yeah.
We have some things in the works, yeah. Nothing that's going to be close for releasing for a while yet.
They like to incubate.
We got our first pull request this morning from Web Dev Studios.
Really? Web Dev.
Web Dev's awesome.
We're going to write an article about you.
We missed a capital P in WordPress.
Oh.
Oh, no.
It was two of them.
We missed two of them.
They probably have a grunt
goodness.
task that goes and looks through the code for that.
Just in case Matt or Nason or anybody are watching, we've corrected it. It's all good now.
I think what Dave just said is, if you don't implement a thing that allows you to auto find that, you're in trouble. Go hang out with the Zerbs. You like them so much.
That error was on me. I forgot to capitalize.
It was a team error. Now,
the fish stinks from the head. Okay.
Zurb seems to be in all caps. I wonder if they have the same thing. I wonder if we do like a camel case Zurb, if we're going to get in trouble there.
Like what? Capitalize the middle? What is it?
Capital.
Yeah, they're not.
Zurb.
Uppercase.
They're not. They're
I just like saying Zurb over and over, and Zurb and Zeek is like you guys are playing at the end of the alphabet.
We like those guys, and they've already offered to come on, so we'll have them on the water cooler soon.
Yep.
Nice.
I think ultimately we try to get out of the way with the starter theme, right? Not give too much opinions. You start going with Bower, you get your gulp going with npm install. This is after you clone the theme, and you're rocking and rolling. You're good to go.
And Jacob wrote a great little README file inside of the theme, so all that stuff that he's explaining is right there for you on the front page. So.
I love documentation.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about your documentation.
Oh, I am terrible at it. I am terrible.
But is someone on your team good? Because really, that's what teams are all about.
Yeah,
great.
I'm looking, and my team is fantastic.
That's all that matters. It's all about the delegation.
I've always surrounded myself with good people.
Read me, Seymour.
I'm curious as to, as a theme builder or a starter theme builder, what the maintenance and the updates that, amount of work is going to be like. So I'm curious about that. I mean, we've got our first pull request today. So it's
nice. You got Web Dev Studios working for you. So
and
that's great when you can get that.
Shout out to Brad. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit scary to put yourself, put your code out there and just kind of have it out there in the world, but
for all your little peas.
Yeah.
See all your little peas.
50% of the WordPress developers are now helping you.
Yeah, you can have all the GitHub minions helping you, like WebDev and those guys. So it should help with that.
Wait, Web Dev Studios is a GitHub minion?
No, they
for you now, minions. Yeah, that's how it works.
I never heard that term before.
Pull request.
GitHub minion.
GitHub minion.
Consist of at least
GHM.
The WordPress developer population, so it works out pretty good.
Zurb.
Yeah.
Well, that is
Steve's favorite new word.
That's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for being on the show, and I'm glad that we're able to discuss all the stuff that Zeek's doing over there. And make sure you go over to our website, WPwatercooler.com, and check out the stuff there. If you don't want
Heisenberg.
to watch us and you do want to listen to us, you can subscribe to us as a podcast.
But we're so pretty.
Talk to you later.
Yes.